All right. Hey, everyone. Hello, hello. Giving folks a minute to join in here. I'm going to apologize up front. I am no Deb Cruz, so I'm going to do my best to get all of your comments on the screen and your hellos, but that's usually something she does, though. I'm working on it. But thank you for joining us on Sunday, our weekly gathering in Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's Legacy. I really appreciate you all being here. Well, let's do some check-ins. Peggy Oki, how are you today?
Hi, Annette. Hello, everybody. Howard, Christina. I'm grateful to be here and glad for everybody who's hopped on. And yeah, thanks to everyone for being interested in wanting to help the Southern resident orcas, TokiTV's families.
Thanks, Peggy. Christina, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm keeping my spirits up high and my positive attitude, because that's what you got to do. so,
And it's
so
contagious.
yes, exactly. So I'm good, and I have lots of positive energy flowing.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina, and thank you for bringing that here with us today as we continue our conversations about how we're going to help Toki's family and what we can do every day to help. Howard, how are you? What's going on up there?
Well, it's a really windy, blustery, white cappy day out there. It's blowing 20 or 30 knots pretty well consistently all day, which will be fun for the Seahawks home game in Seattle, trying to pass the ball in that. But also, J-Pod is still in the possession triangle, which is that area south of Whidbey Island. If you know Puget Sound, it's between Edmonds and Kingston, more or less, and maybe down as far as not quite to Seattle off Bainbridge. But they've been there for 1 week. This is day 7. They seem to be coming back up north, and I actually, from where we are on the southwest side of Whidbey Island, we can see some of Admiralty Inlet. And I saw fins out there. And there had been a report of J-Pod coming north. So I'm thinking, well, that's part of J-Pod. And then Susan, a little later, saw some fins way over across. It's about 7 miles to Hood Canal. And so she's thinking she's seeing J-Pod. And then we got a report, no, J-Pod is like 30 miles south of here in Possession Triangle still. So that was a little group of transients, I think T-49s, if I'm not mistaken. But at any rate, not J-Pod, which means J-Pod has just been staying put down in Possession Triangle. And we're getting reports of lots of chum salmon, and that's why they're there. It's an annual thing. It's about a 4 to 6 week run of chum, and they come into Possession Sound staging for going upstream to sort of locate by smell where is the river that they came out of a year or two earlier. So they're kind of confused and looking around and trying to get their directions, and that makes them easy picking. So I guess it's snack time down there for J-Pod, because they're not Chinook, they're chum. So, and these are not necessarily big chum, because there are a lot of hatchery fish down there, and they don't get as big. And so they're a meal, they're a way to fill up, but it's kind of like, filling up on graham crackers. It's not really a complete nutritious meal. It doesn't have anywhere near the calorie content that Chinook have, and they're smaller, and so it's more work per bite. So, people may think, well, there's lots of fish, so there's no need to breach the dams. A lot of pro dam people will be saying that, but not so. These are not as nutritious. They're a lot more work for each bite, and they're seasonal. There's a very short pulse of them, and then they've got to go off and search for some other source of other salmon, hopefully some Chinook somewhere. So yeah, they're filling up down there. They must be, or they wouldn't stay. But it's not the same as having the year-round abundant big Chinook that they used to have. So it's great that they're down there. They're very hard to see though, because this is the triangle that is I don't know, 15 miles across, and they're spread out and they're foraging. So they're in small groups and long dives, and so people are having trouble seeing them. They're right on the ferry route between Kingston and Edmonds. So most of the reports we're getting, or a lot of them, are from the ferries. People are out there in the middle on their way across and they see them. So those are very welcome. As far as K&L pods, the last sighting was the Center for Whale Research report from October 15th, when they saw all of L pod, but they didn't see L90 balena, or of course L128, the little calf that was born in late September. And L90 and L128 came up and down the west side of San Juan Island for 3 days without any other L pod members around, and then was seen. The calf, they were looking good when they were along San Juan Island in September, but on October 5th, out there on the west end of the Strait of Juan de Fuca, basically at the edge of the Pacific Ocean, was when L128 was so emaciated, and when another whale, L83, a female about the same age, a couple years older than balena, L90, brought the calf over to Mark Mallison, the veteran researcher who was out there, as if to show that dying calf to Mark. I got to believe they know what they're doing. They know the messages that they are conveying when they do something like that. You know, if she could have said, "This baby is dying, do something," she would have said it in English. So, but the only other way was to show the baby to Mark. And I'm sure that's what she was doing. And, you know, we got a little bit of a confirmation on the Colbert Show. I don't know if anybody saw that, but what he does is meanwhile bit. He did that clip of the San Antonio SeaWorld orca who came right up next to the stands and defecated this big, long brown streak in the water, and then circled back and came right up to it and did a big breach and a huge splash. and Colbert said, now, I'm no orcaologist, but I'm pretty sure that whale knew exactly what it was doing.
I watched these videos over and over from the people in the stands and their faces. You know, when they turned around, they were like, and Tammy and I were talking about that. And I was like, well, I mean, where else are they going to go? Right. And so I hope people realize that all this time, that's probably what they were getting splashed with. They just didn't see it as, you know,
Right.
Openly as this whale wanted them to see.
Which reminds me of a time when Toki, without the fecal element, but when Toki did that, I've got the video when it was before the show, and there were 4 SeaWorld employees in their green shirts. Yeah, that's a nice one, Peggy. And they were just standing there gossiping, you know, not paying any attention to her. And so she just kind of looked at him, and then she reared back with her flukes and just heaved a tsunami on top of them and just drenched them totally, you know, in their nice coiffures and everything. And they just were soaked. It was hilarious. And then she spy hopped again to look at her good work. You know, another case, you know, they know exactly what they're doing all the time.
That I was sharing that too, and some people said, that the orca was saying, wanting people to, eat whatever.
Yeah,
That,
well, that's
you know,
a good interpretation.
yeah, I mean, just there you go. But and I was laughing because I'm like, all this time that, I mean, that's what they've been being splashed with. So enjoy your entertainment, folks.
Yeah.
I think this
Yeah,
one's
that's what
going
you
to be,
get. I mean,
yeah,
seriously. I mean,
seriously.
I wish it would happen
And
every single time.
and again, we have a lot of work to do. I mean, we have a lot of work to do, guys. Thank you, Howard, for bringing up, about the chum salmon and people saying, oh, well, there's fish. There's clearly a lot of fish because they're there. They're eating. No, they're eating what they have to. And like you said, working a lot harder for it and not getting the nutrition that they need and deserve that they would get if we and when we breach the lower Snake River dams and they can have their salmon back and the people can have their salmon back. It was really important to keep spreading that message. So when you hear people say, well, there's clearly fish, they're there eating. No, actually, this is what they're eating. And, continuing to have that conversation and also continuing to have that conversation like we're talking about the whales at SeaWorld. Um, this is what you guys are paying for, man. And it's just not okay. And, if we want SeaWorld who has the money to turn around, and we've all said this before, like they'd be the perfect people to fund and start paying for sanctuaries. Stop giving them money for holding them in these tanks if we want to see them in sanctuary. So I'll get off my little soapbox about that because I do want to share something with you guys that happened this week, and then we'll let Howard talk a little more. But in talking about Toki and honoring Toki, Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, I just want to share something with you guys. Give me 1 second to get this loaded on the screen. And let's watch this together.
ACM ISKCM Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's ISKCM TokiTV Tlali ISKCM ISKCM
So 3 and 5.
Whoa, oh, 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 hey,
Exit stage left. This way.
Nope, exit off.
Just beautiful.
I did not know you had that because I was down there in the front off on the left side, and that was just so incredibly moving. I was not expecting anything to do with Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, and here it was right at the beginning, and that's a huge screen. She was larger than life and up close, and it was just so moving. And then they went on to play that the August 17th, the day before she passed, when her family came in and were acting to me like they were grieving, like they were feeling her passing. And I don't know if you could read the words on the screen, but it said, and I don't recall the exact wording, but we believe her family came in to help her mother bring Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's home. And I just, that just knocked me right out. I mean, I was just, well, I think everyone in the hall, and this was at the Paramount Theater, downtown Seattle, big theater, big balcony, completely full, and 95% tribal from every tribe, I'm sure, around the Salish Sea and beyond. There were Navajos. There were just so many people there, and it was just such a gathering, and to see that whole culture learn about Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's that way, and about her family coming in. To me, that's a mystical moment that I saw with my own eyes. So it it was really a momentous event. I mean, I'm so glad that you got that clip of it. I didn't know that. I knew there were a lot of cameras and some professional cameras, so I'm sure there's some good clips and probably a documentary in the works. But
So, um, Children of the Setting Sun Productions is who put this on, who put on the One People Gathering at the Paramount. Go to their YouTube page. The entire event is there. So
okay.
it was live streamed, which thank you to Children of the Setting Sun Productions for live streaming, so I was able to watch because I couldn't be there. But if you guys go to YouTube and look up Children of the Setting Sun Productions, you will see it and you can watch the entire event. There were so many people watching online, and the comments were just beautiful.
Mhm.
Right now works for Children of the Setting Sun Productions, and I just, want to thank her and everyone there for putting this on, and not just for putting on, but making sure she was honored. And you'll notice, that Shirley Bob and her
Mhm.
family, she's got
Mhm.
beautiful children and grandchildren. I see Sienna on there. Um, so culturally connected her family is, and this the spirit that comes out from them sharing their voices in that way is just so beautiful. So thank you, Shirley Bob, and your family, um, for being there, and again to honor her, because we get busy. We get busy with what we're doing, and we're doing the doing, but we have to bring ourselves back to how are we all connected, right? Who connected all of us? And she did. And it's important for us to honor her every day.
Mhm.
And to talk about that, Howard, every day, to talk about and remind everyone that her family was there bringing her home. It just shows their, not just their intelligence, but how they're so far beyond us and so connected spiritually to be able to do that from across the country. Um, we have to keep talking about that. We have to keep reminding of ourselves and everyone around us why we do this, why we're in this. Peggy, what were your thoughts in watching that? Oh, you're on mute. You're muted, Peggy. Peggy, you're muted. I don't know if she sees.
Peggy, we can't hear you.
I want to hear what you're saying.
Okay, so I just put the link in the chat, Annette, for the YouTube channel.
Thank you.
And I have such gratitude for them honoring Tokite in such a moving, powerful way. Yeah. Hachka.
Yeah.
Thank you. Christina?
Yeah. It's just emotional, because also just seeing Shirley Bob, because, because she's really special. And I'm so happy that they honored her, because, like you said, she needs to be honored every day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
It's okay.
Ask Howard.
Okay. We'll go back to Howard. And it's okay because it's waves, right? It's waves, and it's waves of grief, and it's also waves of love, and it's waves of healing. We're ocean people, right? So we have to ride those waves, and know that, um, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this. Those emotions and those feelings and that passion, because we love her so much and we love her family. And guys, we gotta keep on it. We gotta keep on it. And I was so pleased when Peggy texted about joining the day, because if there's someone who's on it, it's Peggy, and all the ways you have for people to participate in Orca Network, Howard and Susan, and just you guys, we got to keep doing it. So it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry, and it's absolutely good to feel that. And I'm weird. If someone else is crying, I won't. And so, hoping you guys aren't crying, I'll probably start crying. But it's okay, right? It's okay. We got to feel it. Howard.
Yeah, I wanted to say about another, a little later in that program, Tuesday night in Seattle at the Paramount Theater, after that incredible, appearance by Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, was the Black Hawk Singers, only 50. And I don't remember them announcing that, but I recognized their sound because it brought back in 2018 when the Totem went to Miami in July, and for 3 days, and there were ceremonies and testimonials and just such heartfelt and spiritual moments, just one after another, and it kind of culminated in a gathering under a tent. And this was with hurricane warnings and even a tornado watch, but in a tent. But it went off just beautifully, and the weather kind of calmed down and cleared as more and more Freddie Lane, Doug James, Emma Witt, Jewel James, and many others gave these just, impassioned speeches about Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's. And then there was the march. Probably, 500, 1,000 people. I didn't count, but a whole lot of people went. It's only a quarter mile from the park across the road to the Seaquarium, to as close as we could get to Scully. And on that march, it was led by the Black Hawk Singers. And that's just, that feeling is just etched in my mind. Maybe that's it. They're just so powerful. Those, I can't even begin to try to sing that way because it's just so deep, resonating. It just, penetrates to your spirit. And it just gave me the sort of the power of the culture and the spiritual knowledge behind all that just it brought it back. It took me right back to that time in Miami, 6 years ago. All right, do we have any audio on that?
Here we go.
Atlas, let's go.
In attention of elders, Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, Oh,
Yeah. Oops, I have
To
you
see
muted.
Toki, to visit Toki with, wow. Yeah, it's
Powerful. It's very
just as
powerful.
powerful. I know, there's not words. Yeah, it just is overwhelming. So beautiful. Um, well, I mean, I came away from Miami changed. I felt that presence, that deep cultural tradition, and I don't know, the sort of the unifying. It was kind of brought in just by feeling the the song and the drums. It brings you into that ancient deep awareness that, well, Netzemot, one mind, one heart. That was the name of the event, Netzemot.
It's beautiful. I put the link during that but again, guys, go to YouTube and look up Children of the Setting Sun Productions and or you can go to the website settingsunproductions.org as well. I'm sure the link there to the YouTube is there, but again, it was live streamed and that's the flood song. Yeah. Um it's beautiful that they shared that there. Um,
And lucky you, Howard, you got to see it in person. I've got to see it in person, not,
Wow.
but definitely the flood song. So when they do that, it's you become part with them, basically, So
Yeah,
it's very powerful. So I know, I mean, it must have been even more powerful with that many more people.
it's like
yeah,
our hearts are all beating,
Hmm.
with every beat of that drum, it's like your hearts are all beating together and it becomes like a rhythm, right? And there's just like this group breathing that also happens. I'm sure it's meant to be that way, but that's for me. That's my experience. Is when I'm there, I'm looking around and I'm like, well, I think we're all at that same. We're all hanging on to that same breath, like we do when we meditate. We all breathe together. It's like that. But it's like when you hear an orca take a breath, that how you feel it in your chest. That's how this feels. So it's
yeah.
beautiful.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Whew. Well, and,
Yeah.
I know. Whew.
Hey, bring it, bring it.
We had a different guest lined up for today, you guys, but everything happens for a reason. I think we were meant to just kind of get back in sync with one another and remind ourselves of why we're here, why we keep going, and what we keep doing. Christina, with your box, I didn't do it this week, and I need to go. I need to do it, but we want to tell people about kind of what something they can do that you were doing.
Yeah, it's my Orca Action Station. I don't have it because I brought it to the little store called Evolve. And thank you, Janie, for letting me. And I checked on it yesterday, and I got 3 postcards. So it's like I wasn't even there, right? Like I just dropped off my little shoebox. I mean, it was cute shoebox, decorated, but I wasn't there and I left. I went to Lopez Island actually. Otherwise I would have been with you, Howard, with that situation. Anyways, and I just checked it yesterday, and I know it's only 3, but 3 is a lot actually. 3 means a lot. So, and if I can get 3 every week, then hey, that's great, so you can just make your little Orca action station, and I have Peggy's, like Peggy has some short versions of letter, and I have a longer letter, and so they can like choose whatever. Yep, they can choose whatever they want to do. And I printed out some of Peggy's activists. Yep. Sorry, I don't have them because I dropped them off at the place before I left. And so, it's really self-explanatory. It's very easy to do. And it doesn't really take that much time from you. You can just, as long as you know the people that have the shop, or Brandy did something sort of similar to this at her hairdressers. She put some signs up and she had some postcards, and so just get creative, do whatever you can to, get some awareness spread and some postcards to President Biden, because that's what we got to do. That's why we're here. And when you do that, you feel good, because I know it's easy to like get into the depths of despair with the baby, but when you do your actions, you feel good because you're like, hey, I am doing something, and we can do this. So yeah, 3 is good.
I love it because that's 3 people who sat down to do it. There's
Yep.
probably more people that saw the action station and like, what is this? And they can scan the barcode, which we'll put up. We'll take you to Peggy's site. You can download the activist pack. So there's 3 people who cared enough in that moment to stop and write a postcard, who may not have ever heard of this before. And
Yeah.
all those other
Actually,
people.
one of them from Sk'aliCh'elh, Idaho.
Oh, that's cool.
I know. Nancy Settle from Sk'aliCh'elh, Idaho. Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy.
Perfect.
You're an Ellsworth, so sorry to
put
cut you off, but that was fun.
Okay, guys,
Excellent.
I'm going to try to hide my face real quick while we do this scan me thing. But if you guys are watching, take a screenshot, and you can send this around. Even easier, you could go to cetaceans.org and find all of this information. But, something you guys can print and put with your action station. So if people don't want to sit and do a postcard right then and there, they can scan it, get all the information that they need, discover ways to take action for the southern resident killer whales. Thank you, Peggy. I'll take you to the site here.
There it is.
It'll tell you who are the southern resident killer whales, why are they endangered, all of these petitions that you guys can do to support. So support Indigenous calls to breach Snake River dams. There's a petition there for that. There's a petition for telling Congress to breach the 4 lower Snake River dams. All of this stuff here on Peggy's site, all the reasons, talking points, you guys. This is really important when you're having these conversations. You can just share this information with them, all the reasons to breach the dams, talking about, the how you're going to get people's attention. If you guys can go in person, constituents in person issue visits from constituents really, really has a lot of high positive influence. I'm showing off Peggy's stuff here. I should be letting her talk about it. But here's her activist pack. You guys just download all. It has all this information in there. Taking action. Look at how cute. The postcards are there. I think that's what Peggy's going to hold up now. This is the front of a postcard. The backs are already pre-addressed, and then there's some that you can address your own there.
And I would just like to say that I think we have good reason to think that President Joe Biden is likely to be listening, whether directly or indirectly. And, I say that on the basis of some evidence. I try to stay evidence-based, and there's reason to think that. And one is, well, for one thing, he appointed Deb Haaland, who is a Pueblo native from New Mexico, as Secretary of the Interior. Certainly the first Native American on a presidential cabinet. And she, and I'm sure in collaboration with the executive branch, declared last, I think it was January, February of this year, that the Snake River dams violate the treaties of 1855 that guaranteed the right to the usual and accustomed fishing and foraging by depriving the native people, the Nez Perce, I can't even begin to name all the tribes, but that have been pushed out and deprived of their salmon. And so to just establish that yes, this is in violation, that's an admission. And that also is sets the stage, sets the foundation, is a huge political reason for breaching the dams that makes me think, along with, by the way, that NOAA in 2022 issued a paper that was a 180 flip from their previous statements about how they used to say the dams are not really going to cause the Chinook and other salmon to go extinct, and then they turned around and said, "Oh yeah, actually, if we want that, yes, okay, good, Peggy. If we want the Chinook to recover at all, and the southern residents to recover, we have to breach those dams." And so for NOAA to say that, that's huge. That's gigantic. But I also want to mention, I think we should, that just yesterday, President Biden apologized to the native peoples for 150 years of kidnapping and abusing the children to try to eradicate the cultures of native peoples across the country. That went on until 1970. And this is a formal apology, a real acknowledgement that was done. And that, to me, is real sensitivity and real, inclusion and acceptance. And it bodes well for being able to, recognize and appreciate the lives, the talents, the beauty of native peoples.
For him to do the formal apology was massive. I mean, I think that when I saw that, I was like, man, that's cool. So he issued a formal apology for the federal government's Native boarding schools and Native American boarding schools. And then, talking about righting the historic wrongs. Thank you for the apology, President Biden, that was needed. And now there's action that you can take to further what you're saying that you're doing, with the righting the wrongs, the historical wrongs. What have we learned from these dams, and what are they doing to the peoples and their treaty rights and the orcas that we love so much? So with one little pen, right, Christina?
Mhm.
Yes. How you were reading my mind. I was going to interrupt you.
Should we send him a really cool pen to do this with because of an executive order? You guys, we could have these. Maybe that's what we should do. We should buy him a really fancy pen, and tell him what it's for, and it can only be used for that. And he's got a little bit of time left where he can do that. Make a powerful, powerful, powerful stand, and not just a verbal thing. Like, this will have lasting impacts if we can breach these dams. So President Biden, please, that's why there's so much in that activist pack about, you'll see the pre-written addresses there on Peggy's site if you guys are to, get them from there. But they're already written to President Joe Biden because he himself can make this happen. And he needs to make this happen. So thank you, Howard, for bringing up that very important point. There's a lot going on right now. There's voting. You guys, please go vote. Vote for your environment. Vote for the whales. I'll just leave that there.
Women.
Yeah. Debbie said a whale pen. Like, you're definitely, I'm on the.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a really cool person. For the Bloom Fest, I've never paid money for a pen before, like that kind of money, but I did because he was just so cool and creative, and he does custom pens. So I may have to give him a little call after this and see what kind of cool pen we can send to the president. Peggy?
I have an idea for a pen. You know how they have, I'm thinking somebody still makes them, but you know those pens that have like a liquid in them and you can do this and things move around? Yeah. That could be with some salmon in a free-flowing little river.
That's cute.
Nook. And then some southern resident orcas chasing after them.
There you go.
A little movie in a pen.
Yeah, you know those pens. They were usually something else. But anyway. Also, everyone can just in their mind's eye, okay, just visualize that he's got the pen and he's signing the executive order. Just do it, and do it a lot. Really, it really, really helps. Just visualize it, please.
That's cool. Debbie, I didn't know that. Debbie just said in Alaska too. Our government apologized yesterday, as well in Alaska. That's very, very cool. Very cool.
So things are happening. Woo!
I'd like to add a few things, if that's okay. Want to just honor, recognize Christina for her great ideas, and again, I've got my box. I haven't customized it yet, but I've got my box. I'm going to hit up my friends that have a shop, and I had previously had letters for TokiTV there, and so yeah, I saw him yesterday. Say I'm going to stop by, and also regarding Howard's news report about the J-Pod, currently. J-Pod and all the various matrilineals currently eating some chum, and how we need to get the Snake River Chinook back. We need to let's visualize the June hogs. Let's visualize that as well. Free-flowing rivers and June hog Chinook. And also a couple days ago, I read that I was trying to find out because I'd seen a little thing. I found out that there's more Chinook appearing, more salmon appearing around the Klamath, where, because post dams, it's not just the one, there's been more showing up. So, thanking Howard for sharing that good news previously. And now there's more showing up in such a short period of time.
And on maybe a bit of a tangent, but yesterday, J27 was photographed by a couple of people wearing a fish with a fish on his head, which I thought that had gone out of style because that was something they did in 1987 or 88.
It's coming back. You know how fashion circles back.
Right.
Back.
I mean, Next, we're going to have bell bottoms out there. I mean, it's amazing how it's. I don't know if it's a fashion statement or just a honoring of the salmon. A way as a ceremonial ritual. I don't know, but there he was carrying that fish around. I mean, they appreciate their fish. I'm pretty sure.
Super cute.
That's awesome. Thanks for that, Howard. Alma says, visualize Biden signing the executive order to breach the Snake River dams. Visualize plentiful salmon. Visualize more salmon hats. I love it.
I should have
And
sent
we
you
love
this.
you, Alma. Mwah.
We love you, Alma.
Yes.
Cindy says it's trending. I love it.
That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, and Debbie says, are they communicating with us? Yeah, maybe like, hey, look, this is what we need. This is what we need. So please remember, really, really important that Howard pointed out at the beginning, if you weren't with us, when people say, oh, there's a lot of fish, they're there with chum and they're sticking around because there's so much chum and this and that. Howard, I'll let you talk to us again as we close. Just what's important to remember about chum salmon. I like your description of like it's just little crackers, right? It's just compared
Right.
to what they need. So I'll let you finish.
Well, we're hearing there's a lot of chum down there, and that certainly explains why J-Pod has been in the possession triangle south of Whidbey Island for 7 days and counting now. They're down there right now. But what they're eating are chum, which are very seasonal, and a lot of them are hatchery fish. I don't know the proportions, but I'd say most, probably 90%, are hatchery fish, and they're smaller. They're not the same as Chinook. This does not mean that we don't have to breach the dams, that we don't have to worry about salmon restoration. This is a temporary pulse of a whole lot of chum salmon. Apparently, they're jumping around like popcorn down there, but they're small and they don't have the calorie content per pound as Chinook. So they're a lot more work to catch each one, each little bite. So they're like a sea of snacks, so they're getting a lot of graham crackers, but they're not getting good nutritious dinners. So it's good, but it's not as good as it needs to be for them to have healthy survival and reproductive rates.
Thank you, Howard. I just want to make sure I'm not cutting anyone off. So Peggy or Christina, if you have anything else you would like to share before we close.
I like to say thank you to everyone. Peggy, thank you for your activism packet. It's awesome. Thank you, Howard, for always being there and letting us know what's going on in the education. And thank you, Annette, for always being here on TokiTV because it's really important. It is really important. It's a public service, and all these actions, people need to do them, and they're here, right here. You can come right here and watch it anytime, and you can find out what you need to do, and they are. So it's awesome. So I just and everyone who's watching, obviously, please.
And sharing.
Yes.
Cindy watches faithfully and she's always sharing information out there. So thank you, Cindy. It does matter. It makes a difference. Thanks, Christina. Love you.
Thank you.
Peggy.
Well, again, I'd like to thank Annette for being the organizer of the TokiTV show and all that you do outside of that, and Howard for sharing your vast knowledge and like looking at the Orca Network website today, just so much information there. And Christina, for your passion and all your hundreds of postcards and letters that you've collected, and everybody here who's watching, who's committing to do as much as we can for the Southern resident orcas. And just to share, just real quickly, I was able to get 10 more when I gave a presentation Thursday at the Carpinteria Skate Park Foundation After School Program.
Cool.
there's just so many different ways people can do that. You can put that special orca box out, and that means just leaving it with some friends that run a business, or having a postcard writing party. You can, and again, the most important recipient at this time for our messages is President Joe Biden. And as Annette and Howard shared, we can thank him for making something that's, well over a century past, just needed the apology, the formal apology to the tribes, and just thank him for that, but also to honor the treaties and to honor the southern resident orcas. And listen to what Noah said. The scientist said it.
Yes.
You must breach the 4 lower Snake River dams. So we have all these reasons, and just write tiny and fit it in your postcard and send it off.
Love it. All right, guys, we'll see you. Oh, Howard?
Well, I want to thank Christina and Peggy and you, Annette, for being here. It's like hanging out with good friends and talking about the stuff that is important to all of us. And if I could, and if this works and I can share screen, let's see, share screen. Okay, there are tips. Well, it doesn't seem to actually. I haven't tried to do it from here. I should have sent you the picture.
If you do present, there's not a share screen. If you click on present, there should be a share screen there.
Well, there is. Let's see. There. Does that show up?
Okay, I'm going to add it right now. Oh, there we go.
There he is, J27, carrying a fish around.
Oh.
Just want to share that so that you'll know that they're loving those chum down there.
That's so great. I'm so glad they got that photo. That's so great.
Cute. That's so cute. Awesome.
That's my parting shot.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys, you have a really great week. Don't forget to write to the White House. You can also, email. You can also text. That's the easy way to do it. So if you're not going to write something, please at least send a text. It's easy to 302-404-0880. Then there's the address. So there's 3 ways right there on the screen that you guys can all make a difference today and every day this week. And we'll see you guys next week. Yeah? All right. Have a good one.